Alright, so this video I'm going to show you how to create a continuous line drawing in the Sketchpad IO website. So of course the first thing you want to do is make sure that you don't have anything on your drawing space. So click the plus button to the left bottom, click on transparent, and then go ahead and click create. And that'll give you this brand new sheet. Now we're actually going to be working with our layers, but since I don't have any layers right now, there's nothing I can do. I can't add any new ones. I can't add anything. So on the left hand side, you're going to click your vector fill towards the top. Select the fill color as white, and then go ahead and click on your drawing space, and then click your check mark. Okay. I like to click on the zoom so that way I can put it as fill, or I can make it smaller so I can see my drawing space completely. And then as you can see now, your layers button is white and we can see our layer of the background. So for the continuous line drawing, we're actually going to use this upload picture button. So it has two little mountains with the sun and a plus sign at the top. So when we click on that, please make sure that you have a picture that you're able to use, that you're going to be using, because we are going to be using it as one of our layers that we can draw on top of it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a picture of my son. We'll just pick this one. Notice how my format of my picture is horizontal. I need it to be vertical. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to click on the picture. Okay, and it starts to give us these options. So since mine is horizontal and I want it to be vertical, when I mouse over and I go to the corner, we have these little like corners, and then we have the little arrows that are around the corner. So when we mouse over those arrows, they turn green. That means that's the button you're selecting, and so this one here with these two arrows is actually the one for us to rotate it. So if we click and drag our mouse, we can actually rotate the picture to how we want it. Okay, so I actually want the little face that I'm going to be drawing to be bigger and to fill up that space. So I'm actually going to drag the picture down so that way I can click on this corner when it turns green and actually drag it so that way it fills in that space and it becomes the size that I need it, or the size that I want it. Okay, so that's a pretty good size. We'll leave it about there. Alright, so now that I'm done, I'll click on the outside of my picture, and when we look at our layers, we can see we now have two layers, our background and then of course our picture. The way that the Sketchpad website works is that each time you create a mark, I'm going to take the pencil and I'm just going to draw a mark and then draw another mark. It actually creates those layers for us for each time we unclick and then re-click our mouse. So I'm just going to do my undo again, and now you can see those two layers of pencil are now gone. Okay, please make sure you do have your pencil or you have the pen and that your fill is off. We do not want it to be a fill because we want it to have a single line and we don't want it to be shapes filled in. Okay, so I'm going to keep it at this pencil, and what we're going to do is we're going to create a continuous line drawing on top of the layer of this picture. So I'm just going to go around and I'm going to outline all the features of his face. Okay, I'm not going to unclick my mouse. I'm going to make sure I try to keep my mouse clicked the entire time that I'm doing this drawing, because it is a single continuous line drawing. So same thing applies when you're working with your pencil. You are not picking up your pencil. So I'm going to find a spot where I want to work. Okay, you don't have to do all these details. I just kind of did that for a start. We've got a little ear. Remember, it's going to be a little weird this first time because when we move and adjust our wrist, our mouse is going to move and adjust with it. So we have to make sure that we're doing our best to follow those lines along the edge of the face, along the edge of those features. Also remember, sometimes having those odd lines actually looks a lot better. So don't get frustrated. Just kind of let it go with it. Be like Elsa from Frozen and just let it go. Okay, just gonna draw a couple little lines here so that we could see his little features of his face and then his shoulders. Now I'm not going to unclick my mouse. I'm just going to talk about how I'm going to get to the features in his face, because there's no lines that connect to his eyes, his nose, or his mouth. So I have to create those lines. So sometimes artists like to kind of just like make these little lines here for the hair, and then they like to actually use those lines to connect to create everything else. And you can do that. You can totally do that. You can make as many as you want. So I'm just going to kind of follow along. And then connect as much as I can. Remember, the more lines that you have that are closer together, the darker that area is going to be. So if you want to try and start creating like a little bit of values, we can do that as well. Okay. Now remember, some of your lines are not going to be like perfect. So you have to kind of like go with it, and you have to kind of let it do its own thing. But at the same time, use those lines to create the picture that you want. Okay. Some of your picture too, if you can't see, if you're having trouble seeing what is there, okay, try to do your best to kind of create it on your own. Try to think of how those lines are connecting. How can you create a line that's going to fill it in, or a line that's going to match it? Okay. Alright, so I did that. I'm going to actually make my way up over here on this side for this eye. Remember, I have not unclicked my mouse once. Okay. Everything has all been one single line. I have to go up here and get his eyebrow. And then I'm going to go, I don't know if you guys can hear the baby. Make this line like this. I'm going to fill in his hair a little bit. You don't have to do this. It just kind of helps. I'm running out of space on my mouse pad. Just be aware also where you're drawing your lines, where your mouse is, where your hand is. Okay. Alright, so I think I'm okay now. I think I'm good. I'm going to try to come over here and do maybe this little piece so that we can see the beginning and we can see the end. Alright, now I've unclicked. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you have that layer on top of your picture. And so what we're going to do to get the picture to go away is we're going to come over here to our layers button, and we're actually going to click on the little eyeball that's here next to the layer of your picture. And when we do that, it shows that that's the picture that's not visible. Okay, so as you can see, we can kind of see more or less like what the face looks like when it's one single continuous line drawing. So now we need to save it. Okay, you go over here on the left hand side towards the bottom, you have this floppy disk which is labeled as export. Go ahead and click on export. We want to make sure we are downloading our picture, our image, as a JPEG, because if we download it as anything else, no one else is going to be able to see it when we upload it and turn it in. So make sure we click on JPEG, and you'll see sometimes it'll save it up to the top. If you're using Chrome, it might save it down towards the bottom. But you can see right here, you've got your Drawing 7 Sketchpad JPEG. Okay, if you want to change the title of that, you'll have to open it up in your folder on your computer and just right click and click rename, so that way you can change it. But you can see right here how it has this file page with the image on it. That's telling us that we've saved it as a JPEG. It's an image for everybody to see. Okay, and that's how we do it.